Cool. First time on a Kubernetes conference, so this is new. Thank you for having me. And again, just like the previous speakers, I only got granted like 5 minutes to do a talk that could easily spend an hour and a half or something. So that should be just fine. Oop. My name is Jan Karremans. First day on the job. Yes, this for me is on my badge. It even says NDA because until yesterday I was switching jobs, but I have now joined a firm called Cybertech, which specializes in Postgres deployments. That's also where I come from, database side of things. So bringing databases to Kubernetes, bringing stateful workloads to a stateless framework is very strange, and you really shouldn't do it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should do it and why I think it's even a good idea. And for that, coming from a traditional environment, this is really about shifting gears. Because in database building, database application, traditional applications were really like these big tankers, right? It's tremendously stable. You can take a lot of workload and you go from here to there, but please don't try to turn the wheel because you will need half an ocean to turn the ship around. Yesterday I saw actually a bunch of starlings flying. And this has been like a comparison I've done in my head a bunch of times, right? If you're looking at this new way of building applications, and if you look at the speed in which new requirements for applications are coming, we need to get away from this big old turning wheel. We need to go to, the starlings that if one goes left, the other ones also switch a little bit. You get these gracious figures in the sky, right? This is the new way of looking at applications, and bringing these two worlds together and then combining them with data management is challenging, right? That means that a lot of the stuff that we've been doing, we're going to bring them together in this process. It's a graph created by a good friend of mine, Gabriele Bartolini, who has actually been one of the founders of, really bringing Postgres to Kubernetes, right? So integrating database management, database deployment, and usability of data, actually following the DORA framework, looking at all of the metrics that go with, application development and bringing that together in such a model. And one of the things, especially when I go to my community, so to speak, the database community, and you start talking about these things, you can see the guys sitting backwards and they're pulling out their buzzword-bingo cards, right? Because CI/CD, agile, and all of this stuff, they think, you're crazy. This is database stuff, right? We build a big monolithic entity that lives in a basement, and you come get data with it from us, right? And that doesn't really work anymore these days. And if you actually start looking at all of these terms and looking at, what it actually means to do CI/CD, to do agile development, and look at the words behind it and look at the meaning behind these words, there is actually true value to doing these things, right? From that, basically looking at starlings, and this is a picture I had in my head for a while, these applications really become like neural networks. If you're able to not just have application code be agile and be, part of the cloud of starlings, but if you can also bring data management to the edge, and if you do that with a data management platform like Postgres, which brings all of these cool features and functionalities of not just relational database. I was talking to an architect, said, we do Postgres for relational stuff, and we have another platform for databases, for documents, document JSON and those kind of things. If you look at Postgres, if you really look at that project, you will see that it actually has a lot of features and functionalities that also from a developer perspective, and it's not the most loved database by developers for nothing, A lot of these features and functionalities are available in the Postgres database. This is a slide we can talk about an hour and a half in its own. The only thing I want to highlight from this is, for those of you who are familiar with databases, things like Oracle and stuff are, what you think about the most. You will, Oracle somewhere in the middle. But on the top, there is Berkeley Ingress. Berkeley started doing Ingress, Dr. Michael Stonebreaker. Postgres actually stands for Post Ingress, and after Stonebreaker was done, he handed it to the community. So from that, we can actually say, if you look at Postgres, a community-governed open source project with arguably the most permissive license. If you look at Kubernetes, which is also a community-governed open source project, basically this brings the two most powerful communities on the globe together. So my call also to you is, look into this combination and look where you can use and contribute this. From the end, we're not here to present anything final, right? Postgres and Kubernetes together is a journey. We're at the very start, I think, still of that journey. Cloud Native PG, which is a CNCF project, was created a year and a half ago, I guess, launched at KubeCon in Valencia. Please look into that. Please, participate, use it, try it, work with it, because I think this will really help, enrich developer experience, enrich. Bit. I'm done anyway, so. If you want to know more, you can get in touch with me. Look at cloudnativepg.io as well. And this concludes my talk without further distortion.